Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's All You Can Geek Gamecast, episode 507. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gass, joined by Mike Sneedy.
What's up?
Ori Feinsod.
Hello.
And Tony Korkanakis.
New generation of delays, everyone.
Yeah. Oh, God. We're not even in the generation yet.
That's
it's just
one thing.
Oh, God. We have our lead tonight, folks. We're going to be talking about Microsoft. If you're watching this on YouTube, by the way, before we get started, hit that subscribe and the like button. Absolutely, please. But let's first, before we get into the news, talk about what we've been up to. There's a lot to talk about here. We
apologize for missing last week.
We're
all in the Northeast, so we lost power.
Last week there was no episodes because there was no power.
So I can't record with no power.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we could have done cell phones, but that would have been pretty.
My service was shitty too.
Especially because because there's no power, the cell towers are in shit too.
Yeah.
So I mean, the problem for me is here when I lose power, the cell towers, it's literally my front yard, so that's it. So, man, when we had Hurricane Sandy, there was no cell or anything at my house. I had to walk down the street to get cell, and I'm like, my phone would blow up. I'm like, yes, I have internet. Oh my god. This wasn't as bad, but yeah. So anyways, thank you for joining us on this episode. We have a lot to talk about tonight, but we have a lot to go over with what we've been up to. Mike, what have you been playing first?
Well, aside from using some Switch power when the power was out to play some Mario Kart, I played a lot more Ghost of Tsushima. And I like it a little more than I did last time I talked about it. It's getting up there for me. It's nearly at the level of Fallen Order for me now. Maybe on par. So the game, one of my complaints was the open world, there's not enough interaction with stuff you find and see. But as I went on, there's a bit more. Once you get into it, it's repetitive, and some of it it's not that dynamic. There was one dynamic quest that seemed to happen just by exploring. But, it's still a good open world, and the combat is pretty good. I upped the difficulty to hard since I last talked to, and I felt like that feels a little better to me. It was a little too easy before. Also, I moved up north where things get harder in the game, too, and, some new enemy types with new weapons. I never have too much trouble, except I can't quite get the timing for the pole guys, because I think there's a big gap between their indicator for the counter and when they actually do it. I don't know, it throws me off. Everyone else though, I got down, and I'm actually pleased by the amount of gear really and customization in there too. It's a good incentive to keep exploring and finding stuff, although there's really only 2 resources that matter, because those are the only ones that you always are short on, and everything else you always have enough. So I kind of don't understand what the purpose of, the linens, the steel, all that stuff is. You always have enough of that. It's the supplies and the hides you don't have. But I'm in the third act. I don't know if I want to do certain side quests before the end or not. I don't know if it'll seem disconnected if I do finish the main story and then go back. We'll see. The story is pretty good. Most of the characters are kind of interesting, some aren't, but it's up there. It's an 8.5 for me now, maybe even a 9 on a good day. Wow. So
good.
I'm definitely liking it. I'm trying to squeeze as much as I can out of it too, because I know there's not much to do once you finish everything. So we'll see. I really like it.
Cool. All right, Corey.
Not too much. More on the rebuilding my home. You've been doing worse than power issues for you. Yes. Sorry. Yeah. Tony.
Let's see. I beat Paper Mario Origami King.
Oh, nice. How was the rest of that? I'm on
really good
area still, but again, I'm not done with that game. I just want to get back to it. I'm not doing a high score goal here. I'm doing I had to put
Games is a little bit different. I mean, whatever. It's your time. You can do what you want. It's just when you're oh yeah, I get 80% through it, and then you don't visit it for months on end. Just man, with the show, with the game, I can understand, because some it's it's really tough to get through some of that. But shows just you just watch it, stuff like that. Yeah, anyway, Paper Mario, pretty good. it was kind of frustrating in the last few chapters because there's like straight up, and again, I mean, Paper Mario, like I turned to Paper Mario because A, it was a new release, B, I just came off from playing all the From Software games basically, and I was like, I just need a nice palate cleanser, nice relaxing, mildly challenging game, nothing like stressful. There are some like borderline quick time event things where it's just straight up a one-hit kill, and I'm just like, what? Like, yeah, I literally, what are you talking about? Like, this is Paper Mario, and there's this part.
I had that problem with like level issues, like environment issues, where you're like, oh, I just died.
Yeah, you just died. Yeah, I was like, I just died here. But there's this one part in this game where, like, I mean, not like story spoiler or anything, but you're on like a game show, all right? And you have to do some stuff for this game show, and they're like, all right, but before we, give you your prize, there's one last thing you could do, and it's the sudden death round. I'm like, okay. And they're like, and by death, we actually mean death. If you fail this round, you die. I'm just like, okay. I failed. And gamed over me. I'm just like, wait, I didn't think you guys were being serious about that. And they were. So that was kind of like weird and annoying. I mean, not like a huge thing, but I was like, all right, man, like whatever.
And my thing was like when I had the environment death, I'm like, wait, when was my last fucking save? It's like that was my problem. But go on. Yeah.
Fortunately, the autosave is pretty good. Like I don't think you ever lose more than like maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah, it wasn't too far away. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was really really solid. More towards the place I want Paper Mario to be. So not like the GameCube one, which is probably the pinnacle of the series, but we're getting closer to there. Stuff like that. And other than that, just playing League of Legends. They came out with a new event, so I hopped back onto that, and yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Cool. All right, I went and finally traded in my games. I had some, obviously backlog of stuff, Star Wars sitting around. I wasn't playing Doom anymore. I wasn't playing like a whole bunch of stuff.
Finished Doom?
Nope, never finished it. I wasn't even I was probably halfway through that game, maybe 60% tops.
I mean, that's the thing with the game. Like, it's if you don't like it, I mean, it's rarely gonna get better.
I'm ready to move on. Like, I've heard so much about Ghosts. If you can see this focus wise, it's not gonna
sometimes.
Yeah, it's not gonna focus. Ghosts, I went to go get, and I saw that GameStop was giving 20% bonus credit when you bought that game. So I was like, okay, I'll go grab this. And then the guy was like, "Do you want a pre-order game?" And I'm like, being a former employee of GameStop, I know how much shit you hear. No, yeah, I know how much shit you hear from your district managers when you only have a 1 UPT, when you only sell 1 unit per transaction. So I'm like, fine, man, what do you got for pre-orders? What are you looking for pre-orders here? He's like, well, the Avengers beta is going on right now. I'm like, oh yeah, you know what? I wanted to check that out. So I pre-ordered the beta. I pre-ordered the game. I'm sorry. And so I'm like, I'll try the beta out, and that'll give me my taste of the game if I want to buy the game, because I'm not going to be honest with you, I think a lot of us here, I'm not going to speak for all of us, I guess, but I think we're all pretty down on this. We're not looking too much, like, not super hyped for this game, right?
If someone buys it for me, I'll play it.
Okay, so not after what I talked about. So let's get into this beta, and I don't want to hate on it too badly, I guess, but like,
I guess
there's a lot wrong with this game that I have a lot of gripes with this game. Obviously, the character models are a big issue. People talked about what they look. They look like B-listed Avengers, and because they just don't look like their movie counterparts. And I still feel like they're going to give us that skin as a cost. They're going to give us that in this game. It's going to be there.
You think they're going to get the actual likenesses for a premium skin?
Yep, absolutely, I do.
For a price.
So I will say that I loved playing as the Hulk. A lot. The Hulk looks a lot like his movie counterpart.
Because what I've seen from like Let's Plays and stuff, that he was like everyone's least favorite character.
I like playing as the Hulk. I did. I mean, when you get to play as Ms. Marvel, she's so much better. And it makes me wonder why we have Spider-Man in the PS4 version, because she's very much. I seem like she's like going to be like Spider-Man. Control, she can swing, climb ledges, stuff like that. But this game has no map. Like, character map. Like, I can't tell where my characters are in a world like this. This is Destiny for Avengers. This is what this game is. It is Destiny.
So they think they were kind of pitching it as.
Yeah, and I'm fine. They've hit that. Like, I get that same vibe for Destiny in this game. So it's like a loot-based thing, which we'll get into in a second. But it's a loot-based thing, but in a bigger open world, you have your main objective to go to, but then there's all these little cool side things that you can go check out, like a world event, a rare enemy, something you can go get loot from, but there's no world map to see where the fuck you are. Like, it's just like, where am I going? So you have this little dot to find on the screen. That's, that's it for your objective, and that's it.
And again, you're saying, because what we've all seen is sort of like that, like bridge opening sequence where everything is almost Uncharted level, like linear. But you're saying most of the time it's way more.
Once you get through those first 2 levels, it opens up into a character selection.
And it actually makes it, you can't find anything.
It actually makes it less interesting, because it takes away those character levels where they clearly are introducing you to the characters and their abilities, and now you have these open worlds where they don't know
because they don't know who you're playing as.
Yeah.
I heard that, and then I heard that. Sorry to interrupt. I heard there's in those first 2 levels, because they cater that experience. You'll have like Kamala Khan and Hulk like having some banter between each other, but as soon as you get into that 3rd level, like there's nothing. It's like really awkward.
It's not as much anymore. It's almost because you don't know who's going to be there, and it's just like. I also didn't like they were forcing the fact that it's very hard to find out like if you want to do this solo or you have to play with friends. Like they were forcing the fact for me to do like group to find somebody to join the party, and I'm like, no, I just want to do this single and to see how
I want to play single player. Damn it.
Yeah, I just want to see how this is on my own, and like they really make it hard to do that at first. But the biggest gripe I have with this game, the biggest thing, and this is why it will not last, and this is why I'm not recommending it to anybody, is Mike's gripe that he wrote in Discord. There's a shit ton of loot in this game. It does nothing for your character. You don't know that you're getting this loot. Like, it does nothing except for make you a little more powerful in the game, but you can't see it. You can't see it. It's not physical there, and I think that is a major problem with this style of
1,000,000% a big reason that you have loot in the first place. Like even going back to Diablo 1 or even Diablo 2, because that was a bit more refined. Like loot, like rare items should look cool. Unique items should look cool.
If I'm playing a game with somebody else that's playing as the Hulk and he's got this really rare body armor, I'd be like, holy shit, that looks awesome. I want it. But you can't tell in this game. Yeah.
The thing is, when you see the screenshots of the loot and stuff, like I was like, oh, this is cool, because it reminded me of Injustice 2. And I think, maybe you can like mix and match. You can build, your Flash with a better head from the movies, or you can, and like have different shaders and colors, make it your own, but still the characters. And like that's what I liked about Justice 2. It has this whole sort of action figure-y vibe to it, almost, that works great with superheroes. But to find out none of that exists in this game, it's just stat increases, which I mean, that's some incentive, but to not see any of it at all, to not have any personalization, and then like to know that all the actual skins are behind a paywall, that's just like, oh, this is shit. What's the point?
The other thing is like I posted a link in the Discord, but somebody started compiling all the different pre-order incentives for this game. And the tie-in is ridiculous. I have not seen this aggressive merchandising since like, I don't know, maybe Halo 3 when that was coming out. If you remember, like all the different like Doritos, Mountain Dew, like whatever.
I mean, they're tying to mobile.
It's literally on the level of like Star Wars, like real Star Wars. Like different mobile carriers have different skins.
Yeah.
It's bubble gum if you buy certain gum and redeem it online.
There probably will be Doritos out there. Yep.
Yeah, it's just absurd and just like
fuel.
Yeah, I'm just like, what? Like, don't get me wrong. I understand Avengers is the #1 property, comic property, but like, don't you think this is going a little too hard, too fast, like to the point that it's like kind of off-putting?
It looks like the game should be delayed. To be honest.
It was delayed, wasn't it?
It's not bad. Yeah, it was. It's not bad in the game. It's like the actual heroes themselves don't look great, but the environments are fine. The other problem, like enemies are the enemies. There's only like 5 different types of enemies that I can tell. Like they're not that different.
I mean, the other thing too is like
how does it actually play?
It's pretty. I would say it's pretty fluid. It's not terrible, but it's not like Spider-Man on PS4. It's not like Batman. It's not that quick. It's a little bit It's a little bit Hulk. It's a little bit like the Hulk is like, I get it with the Hulk if I'm playing as the Hulk.
Clumsy.
He can't move that quick. So but like when you're playing as Kamala, like you're like I can't move that quick with her.
Right, but is it deep? Is it like light punch, heavy punch, light kick, heavy kick, anything like that? Or is I thought it was like what I read was like
it's very
like basic punch and then like ability.
Light, heavy, and then you have L and R for your abilities. That's really it.
Yeah.
And most of the time you're holding down R2 on my PlayStation 4. You're holding on the back trigger to make yourself use your special ability the entire time. Like the Hulk, for instance, become enraged so he doesn't take as much damage and he gets his health back.
You have to hold it down. You can't just press it once to turn it on. And
no, you hold it, and as you release it, yeah. So it's not great. It's not great. So I won't be buying this game. I'm happy I played the beta, so I can tell everybody that it's not worth owning at this point in time. If they change the cosmetics to the point where what you get you can see, but that by itself almost makes it worth it because it's an Avengers game.
Incentive.
Yeah, it's an Avengers game where you get to play these heroes and they're awesome. But I want that. I want to see that stuff.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like, I don't doubt that eventually this game could be great. And I'll say Diablo 3 or Destiny 1 on how obviously you promise people the moon, don't deliver. You're still among the stars, that kind of crap. But for me, I just look at that launch lineup, and it's what, 5 characters or 6? I forget.
5 with exclusive.
Right. We'll get into that controversy next. But I'm just like, you have that few characters after all these years of development, and there's no clear roadmap on like, hey, this is the cadence that we're going to release content. There's no way I'm putting money up for this game right now, especially if I wait 6 months to 9 months, it's going to be at least half off. There's probably going to be 2 to 3 more characters, better content, patch updates, bug fixes, et cetera, et cetera. Like you're just not incentivized to play this game right away. And I don't think it's one of those titles where it's like, hey, you need to play this now because it's going to be the water cooler game of the year. It's not.
Yeah.
But then we get into the big controversy.
Now we get the big controversy of Spider-Man, which we've mentioned on here, is a PS4 exclusive, and it's not even the Spider-Man PS4 version. It's just like it's their version of it, but they're giving it to the PS4 owners
until that skin comes out.
Yes, until that skin does come out. But right now it's their own canon Spider-Man.
And there's other stuff as well that's PlayStation exclusive too.
Sure.
But that was the big offense.
The biggest one. There's the time beta right now. You can only play it on PS4 right now. There's even more exclusive content they haven't announced.
I think Xbox gets
cosmetic wise. Yeah, cosmetic wise, they haven't announced. There's more cosmetics that are going to be given to the PS4 version. And there will be 30-day exclusives for legendary outfits ahead of the other systems. Or systems, Steam and
it's Steam too. Yeah.
Do we know if you can earn these things in gamers every skin paid?
I mean, there's currency from what I heard. There's currency in the game.
I haven't earned, but they may not have that on right now in the beta. So it's like they give you a basic amount of currency to buy skins to try it, but I haven't really earned other things yet. So
yeah.
But I mean, there's going to be rare outfits for PS Plus members, 100 credits. We'll also get a free bundle for shape-shifting Ms. Marvel. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff.
All that other stuff is fine because, you kind of...
Yeah, the biggest thing
unfortunately, with these games as a service, kind of like Destiny did that, where it's like, hey, Destiny players on PS4 get, whatever, I think a gun.
They got a mission and a gun. Yeah,
and stuff like that. Like, okay, I mean, a gun is a little worse, but, a character, straight-up character, and not even just, a random-ass... B or C tier character. It's fucking Spider-Man. That's your A tier. He should be plastered on the fucking box. That would sell copies of this fucking game.
Sony, man.
And it almost feels like this should just be a Sony exclusive at this point.
I'm not disagreeing with that fact, but it's so analogous to the situation with Tomb Raider, and it's published by the same company where Tomb Raider 1 comes out and it doesn't even meet expectations on all the platforms. The highest selling Tomb Raider game on all the platforms sold 3 point whatever million copies and still failed to meet expectations. So what do they do for the sequel? They're like, oh, you know what, let's go Xbox exclusive for 1 year. And it's like, okay, that's a great idea, and they just killed that IP, and the third one just absolutely cratered. Which wasn't even exclusive. So
you're finally launching an Avengers game here, and you're like, you can't make that exclusive. I get their choice with that, but why are you giving these exclusive to Spider-Man?
And it's funny. It's funny to me.
Well, it's Sony. I don't think it's them. I don't think it's them.
Sony doesn't own the rights.
Sony definitely had a hand in this. They don't own the rights.
They don't own those rights.
They even
cited Spider-Man.
No, but they even cited in one of the interviews, because they've been doing a lot of interviews ever since this came to light, that Sony and Marvel have a really great working relationship, obviously, and Spider-Man just felt like a natural fit. And I'm just like, oh my god, like I'm sorry, like
I almost wonder if part of the reason why they did this deal is I wonder if people are letting their like PlayStation Plus subscriptions lapse, because I did, because by now most people probably.
I don't think you need PS Plus for Spider-Man though.
Well, I mean,
it's PS4 exclusive.
You would need it to play this game consistently, wouldn't you?
If you want to
go online, yeah.
Yeah, but so this is really like it's mostly an online game, I think. But but this late in this generation, I think if people have both systems, they might be doing what I do, because PlayStation has all these single-player games. I don't care anymore about PlayStation Plus, and I've been off it for like a few months now. But like the Xbox is my online systems. But now that's what annoys me about this, because now like, well, Spider-Man, but this is not really my online system. I'd have to get I don't know. But that might be part of the reason why they did this.
I don't think so, because Sony just released their quarterly results, and they made their most profitable quarter ever with PlayStation. So they're not hurting at all. Like it's just.
If there's an aspect that could be lagging, maybe it is their.
Xbox Live is getting rid of the online component too, so.
That's a rumor, actually. I think.
Well, for PC you don't need like.
Oh well, for PC you never did.
No, well, like you can get Ultimate with and pay. You don't have to pay for the. You pay like $5 and you don't get. But I'm pretty sure they're gonna. Well, not sure, but I think they were saying so. Well, who knows? We'll find out.
It's shitty. I think it's going to do more damage to the game than help it, but who knows? Maybe the Avengers brand is strong enough to weather it anyway.
I think it's probably going to be fine. It's all the PS4 fanboys are going to.
Apparently, there's some evidence that the PlayStation pre-orders are like way up over the Xbox, but I guess that makes sense.
Well, I mean, if I was going to get, that's why I'm playing the beta on PS4, because I'm like, if I'm going to play it, I might as well play it on the only version I would probably get. And so that's the problem.
Do we want Spider-Man to be really good or bad though as a character because of this? Because I mean, like once you get it on that version, you would want it to be good. But what if he's just like a reskin of Kamala, like you said, pretty much? Like how shitty would that be?
I'm sure it's the same like archetype where they're the agile, jumpy, quick, whatever.
I mean, I'm sure you wouldn't need him, but like obviously you have these are characters. It's not like Destiny where you have like a generic character that you're building yourself. These are well-known characters that people love and like have favorites. Yeah, it's like let's make the NBA without the Bulls. Like
Bulls PS4 exclusive.
I know.
Yeah. So I don't know. All right. Other news. We've got some Xbox news coming up here. Firstly, Twitch Prime has been rebranded to Prime Gaming. Not a big bit of news, but they've rebranded it over. Same exact benefits for Amazon Prime members. So that's done. In worse news, I would say is Yoshinori Ono. Sorry, I almost botched his name. Is leaving Capcom after 30 years. He's the Street Fighter producer. You've seen him. If you see like news for any, he's always like yelling at. He's always yelling at the camera.
Blanca figure. Yeah. I mean, he was the face of Street Fighter for the last 15, 20 years. And it's unfortunate. And just to start the conversation. So in Japan they have this weird work. I don't know if it's law or just their culture, but like you never really get fired from a job. And kind of like I'll cite what happened with Kojima. They just reshuffle you around or make your personal working experience so hellish that you pretty much quit. And that's what they did with Kojima. They locked him and isolated him away from the rest of the team, wouldn't let him directly talk with any of his subordinates. It was all done like I don't know, weird communication, stuff like that. So it's unfortunate because that's most likely what happened with him too. Because you don't work for a company for 30 years and you're like, oh, you know what? At my age, I should see.
I heard that the development for Street Fighter 6 was going really badly too.
Or is it just that like these guys get expensive after a while?
No,
I mean, Kojima definitely got expensive. I mean, there's no telling.
I'm sure he pushed back on trying to make his own thing a lot too. Like you saw what Death Stranding was.
Right. But I mean, fighting games are nowhere near the most expensive thing that Capcom's make. that would belong to like Resident Evil or Monster Hunter or something like that. Street Fighter is solidly at least B tier in that terms. But unfortunately, the way Capcom is structured, and we had clues back when Inafune was there, and when Kami of Platinum said, he's more of a businessman, because at Capcom it's all about the numbers, it's all about the finances. So Ono revitalized the industry in the 00s with Street Fighter 4. I mean, that was an amazing resurgence of traditional 2D fighting games.
Just comeback fighting. Yeah, fighting game. We all played it back then. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, that was massive. It was like the 90s all over again. So that's great. Obviously, he rode the gravy train, but then he just had a string of bad hits with Street Fighter Cross Tekken. I think he was MVC Infinite, and Street Fighter 5. Although it seems to have turned around over 4 years. Stumbled out of the gate, and again with exclusives, PlayStation exclusivity doesn't always pay off. And then like Corey's just saying, the rumors that Street Fighter 6 development was not going well, according to internal testing and whatnot. It's just too much. I'm sure Capcom was like, we got to demote you and stuff like that. So it's unfortunate because, on one hand, he's been with the company for that long, and he's, they wouldn't even have Street Fighter 5 or 6 without him. Otherwise Street Fighter would have been dead, another decade at least.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so
that was sad. All right. Other sad news as well. We're going into Microsoft now. The conversations. First, let's get through the controller leak that the Series S console does exist. It looks like there will be a Series S, which we'll hear about, I'm sure, this month. We all expect it, but it's confirmed here. Now, in other news, I think the big news, which was crazy, I get onto Twitter, and it happened to me, the first thing up there was like Greg Miller with the eyes pointing around, looking around, when the guy he was replying to saying, from Game Informer, was saying, you probably want to be on Twitter in the next few minutes. Like, I was like, okay. And so like everybody obviously was refreshing Twitter at that point in time. And lo and behold, Microsoft has delayed Halo, the new one, Infinite, into 2021. I mean,
we just got a Halo event.
It definitely needed. So, without a doubt, is this because of backlash? I mean,
1 million %.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
1 million.
So they're gonna protect their property, and they're gonna make it better. Yes.
There you go. I don't know where Tony is on my screen. So,
like I said, I'm okay with the delay. Like, I'm fine with that delay. The weirdest part for me is that to then say your system is still launching in November of this year, which is, they just came out and said, with what? It's like, that's my problem. There's two things here. So like Halo, go ahead. Like, Halo needs work without a doubt.
Absolutely 1 million % without a shadow of it. And I think we all agreed upon that it did not look like a Halo title should be looking for, the face of the next system. And it's just so weird because like they're like, yeah, like we're excited and stuff, like, I get you got to sell it, but it's like, okay, man. And then 2 weeks later or 3 weeks, whatever it's been, they're like, yeah, we got to delay it for a year. I'm just like, guys, like, again, how many executives did this trailer go through to get approval to show that state? And then it's like, okay, so this is what you're launching with, like 100% confident and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's 343 in my mind. Even if Halo Infinite comes out next year and it's great, it's still going to be like, you guys just fuck around with this franchise too much. There's obviously issues at your studio. Like, get your shit together. Like, I don't know what needs to happen, but
it's crazy because they
no faith in the studio
specifically like put together to make this game, and it's like you can't even do that. Like, you got like the best people that you could to make the game the best that you thought it could be, and it's just,
and you hired new people specifically for a franchise. It wasn't like
Corey's coordinate.
Sorry, repeat that.
They've gotten worse. Yeah, they've gotten worse throughout the years. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah.
So it's just it's really disheartening, and like there's nothing new that's coming to the table.
No, and that's the problem.
They're not bringing anything fresh. It's like, all right, we got Bungie's out. Cool, let's bring your own twist to Halo, but they haven't. They just keep going in the wrong direction. So. Yeah,
I think that's the biggest problem. Like, you have this next gen hardware, which they're touting as being the most powerful hardware to be released, and then we have if everybody looks behind Tony right now, we have that, which shows me that it's from the Xbox One. the OG Xbox console. Maybe not that far back, but 360.
Like
yeah.
worse than Halo 3, yeah.
So do we think this delay is all graphics?
Mostly.
Yes.
No, I don't think it's all graphics. I think that I just think, like you were saying before, Tony, like you had a guy who's directing this game stop and like leave. Now you like halfway through.
Yeah, the creative lead on the game like quits halfway through. Like, I'm sorry, that's not a good sign. That's not a good sign
bad.
At all.
Yeah, that's bad. We knew that. We said that back then. So yeah. I mean,
the other thing is if the multiplayer is going to be free to play, is there a chance they release that for the proper game now?
I think maybe you might have like a multiplayer beta come out.
They probably have a beta, and that's the thing is like a lot of people notice is that usually they would say, hey, we're going to have an open beta before the official launch and stuff like that. And it's like, we're again, probably 3 months out, and it's like,
no marketing, no nothing.
Right, no nothing. So it's like, okay, man, like you're really under pressure for this. I think if they did a beta, it would soothe this over a little bit. Because, I mean, I would think, Halo's got a really unique situation where I think there's a lot of people that like for its single player. There's a lot of people that like for its multiplayer. And there's a good Venn diagram of overlap. As opposed to something like where Call of Duty, where I would estimate just off the top of my head, 80% of people just get that. Yeah, I'm just going to say what they say for 80-20, like 80% play the multiplayer, 20% play the single player. Because, I mean, we even saw like the one or 2 years, they're like, there's no single player missions. Like, cool, you guys don't need that shit. All right. So I think an open beta would help soothe that wound. But it's just, even then, like, I got to wonder, like, how much is a year really going to make? Like, really? Like, sure, the graphical things, you could do that. But, like, even the core gameplay loop, like, they showed us nothing exciting in that trailer. Like, the most innovative thing was the grapple hook. I'm just like, to me, I'm just like, okay, like, but that's not like, 7th or 8th gen, whatever number it is. I'm like, I've done that before, like, cool. Like, I mean, I think I was doing that in Metroid Prime on GameCube, just using the grapple, the hook things and shoot them around and stuff. I'm like,
yeah, no, I know. That's the big thing. It's just like, I mean, if the game was like, knock my socks off, like, look at those graphics, holy shit, it's got a grapple hook. If it was that whole thing, 120 frames per second, that's different than what we got. We got the grapple hook with graphics that looked like they're from 360 and very shaky presentation in terms of what we're getting. And they didn't even mention multiplayer then, don't forget. And it's like they had to announce that afterwards on Twitter. And it's just like, they're just like patching, it's like they're patching this together as we're going. And it's like you said, Tony, it's fucking August. It's good.
We're like the 10th hour, It's like,
so now even more so.
But then
this was already out on Xbox One. Why is
Series X Series X is still coming out, and I've heard now November 6th is the release date. That's what I'm hearing right now. That's what a lot of journalists are reporting. So November 6th is that launch date for this console. But why? Like, why?
Because you got your smart delivery, Jim, your favorite thing.
I understand that, but why? Like, why not just delay it till Halo? Like, just move it to Halo.
So the thing with that, and I was thinking about it.
Even though the Halo doesn't sell it because it's available for the other system.
Right. But no, here's the thing. From a certain standpoint, I understand launching the system from Microsoft's thing. So, like, what I will say is, like, I do give credit to, I assume, Phil Spencer, because he had to approve that delay. I do give credit to Phil Spencer and the 343 executives that had to make the decision, hey, guys, we got to delay this. I give them props for that. Okay? I do give them credit for that. However, from the business angle, I could see them saying, like, guys, even without Halo, we got to launch this because the thing is, this, first of all, it's a holiday season, all right? November, December is huge. I mean, I think it's at least 30, 33, 35% of most of these system sales in that 2-month period, right? And with the whole COVID thing, because U.S. is not getting out of COVID by December. Right? No,
it's going to be gaming industry is going to be gaming industry is going to be booming. It's going to be booming. Yeah.
Right. So they're just like, look, you know what? I guarantee you that's it. It's like, whatever, fuck it, just release the system. People are going to buy it, even if it doesn't have Halo. They'll just buy it because, hey, I have money, hopefully, and there's nothing else for me.
Get that Stim check
right in time. Get that Stim check right in time and blow it on this fucking new hardware, and I'll just wait for Halo next year.
Plus, you get your smart delivery.
Yeah, exactly. That's that's the thing. It's like
I get to play, Cyberpunk 2077 on the new hardware. Woohoo!
Yeah, I mean, maybe we'll see more aggressive deals with the Cyberpunk. Hopefully. I mean, that's the thing. Is like they should ramp up the marketing hard on that.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta show what you can do with the new hardware too. Just like, hey, look at your next gen stuff. Like, what is it?
Yeah, they need to show it being different on the same games. Like the fact that games will be releasing pretty much on both, like simultaneously. They need to somehow find a way to demonstrate that to everyone.
Yeah. Hey, like just be like, Master Chief in Cyberpunk. You can make yourself look like Master Chief. Something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, and I'll just say that memes delayed this game. This guy right here, Craig, delayed this game. Absolutely. I don't know how that came. That's the name. And Microsoft, to their credit, tried to embrace the Craig meme, but like, oh yeah, this is his title. This is blah blah blah. But it was just too bad. And what went through my mind instantly after I read the delay was like they didn't want like a Mass Effect Andromeda like situation going on where just like the memes outright killed that game. Never had a chance. Just like at all. Or the same thing with Anthem. Like, what's going on with Anthem? When was the last time you ever heard from Anthem? Like, not to get on like a big tangent, but when was the last time EA
Aren't they still remaking that?
Yeah, but like.
Who knows? Who cares?
Hey,
that's the thing.
I mean, right. It's just, this is one of those things where like, the nice part about games as a service, you can turn it around. Final Fantasy 14, Diablo 3, both the Destiny, stuff like that. But like some of these games, you just can't save. You can't save everyone. So
yeah. All right. So yeah, we'll see what they launch with now in November. We'll see what their event is going to be this month, which I don't know when that's going to be, but that'll happen with the pricing. But Halo will not be there. So, all right. Lastly, we've got Mike's news. Mike's favorite news. Rocksteady has tweeted out their new game. Mike. Yes. Yeah. Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad. Apparently. What is this? Did we go into a jet plane somewhere? Someone?
I don't know what that is.
It might be me.
I think it's Corey.
It's my room.
Yeah.
I haven't turned it down.
So they tweeted this image, Suicide Squad with crosshairs on what looks like Superman.
It's Superman.
The rumor was maybe they thought it was also Bizarro because it looks like he almost has a little rash-looking thing around his face. But if it was Bizarro, he would have freeze vision, so it would not be red. But, whatever. So,
yeah.
Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League, as we know, was the other domain name, which I'm not even sure if that's grammatically correct, but whatever. So this is happening, and we don't know what the game is going to be. If, the Justice League is somehow playable in this game, that would be great. But I think they probably won't be. I think they're going to use them. The theory is they will be bosses, which, if we remember Rocksteady games, the weakest part of the Batman games is their boss battles, aside from Mr. Freeze and stuff. So that's going to be weird. And it's also going to be weird to have access to characters like Superman to be in this game and then play as, Captain Boomerang. Now, again, that might not be what this game is. But I'm not that excited about this. I know
that's what this game is, Mike. Just so you know, yes, that's what this game is.
You don't know anything about it, really, other
Mike. Mike. Don't get that's what this game is. This game is you're going to play as the Suicide Squad hunting the Justice League. There's been rumors for how long now, and then this screenshot by itself confirms it. Not a bunch. This has been the rumor. The Suicide Squad kills the Justice League has been out there for a year that they've been doing. They're building this kind of game.
Yeah, I understand that. But I don't know what the game is going to be exactly. But
it's games as a service, by the way.
That I didn't know.
Awesome. I don't even know how that works. That was the other rumor, but I don't even know how that would work with this. But
well, you just had to look at Rock. I'm pretty sure we talked about this 2, 3, because again, they've been through the ringer themselves, coming off the Bungie conversation. But you just look at their hiring and all the job descriptions, hey, we need somebody with experience with live service equivalent of continual development. I forget how they technically word it, but it's Yeah, this game's a service.
So here's the thing, like with that, I feel like there might be more of a chance that in like at least a competitive mode you might get to play as some of the more interesting characters. I don't know, but it does sort of feel like maybe they considered something more Justice League-y, threw up their hands and be like, we can't figure out these powers. We'll just use the Suicide Squad, so they're vaguely acrobatic, like weapon-based guys mostly, and they can fight the Justice League. That would be a little bit disappointing to me. Now, I say I have faith in Rocksteady, but really we have, 2-3 Arkham games from them. That's it. And they sort of went off the deep end a little bit in some aspects of Knight. So, I don't know. But you can tell they're itching to move away from what they know a little bit, even in that game. So, I'm skeptical, but I'm prepared to be pretty angry about this. But again, DC Fandome, we'll see some more information about this. And apparently this game...
22nd.
Yeah, and the game apparently isn't even close anyway.
No, Jason tried. It was funny because, first of all, they just tweeted this out. Random point today. It was like, hey, Suicide Squad. It's like, what?
People finally got what they wanted. They wanted them to announce something, and I've said I don't mind waiting as long as,
why not wait till DC Fandome?
Right.
Yeah,
You're like a week away.
Yeah, because here's the thing. At this point, we're what 5 years from an announcement with Arkham Knight. Hey, this is absolute radio silence from Rocksteady, and we're like 2 weeks out from this DC Fandome event. Just wait. Just fucking drop the trailer. Because here's the thing. There's such not Halo Infinite levels of negative reaction, not Mulan levels of $30, to pay to see this, but my overall impression based on internet, Twitter, Reddit, Reset Era, it's negative. It's who really wants, like Mike said, who wants to play as Captain Boomerang or the fucking Freeze guy? It's not just Freeze.
The problem is, the Suicide Squad. Although, for a lot of people, I'm a little bit surprised. A lot of people are excited about this. In certain circles, I guess.
You have the Slipknot fans, of course.
No, there's DC fans who are just like, I'm sick of just being all the main characters. Like, all right, okay, whatever. But I don't even know what I was saying anymore. Because I'm just trying to think of who are these people. But yeah, no, some people are excited about it. But
certainly going to be somebody. But my overall impression of the general reception. This announcement was negative.
No,
so
at this point, because of the movie, actually.
I'm curious. I don't know if it's going to be good, but I'm definitely curious because it is a Suicide Squad game and not necessarily the A-tier characters. So I'm curious to see what they do with the villain side.
Maybe they wanted to temper expectations. Maybe they wanted to temper expectations because maybe on the other hand, maybe if they had flashed the Rocksteady logo and all of a sudden it's Suicide Squad, people would have been like, where's my fucking Batman? Stuff like that. I could see that on the other hand too. So
get all the negative social
give people
media
2
stuff
weeks
out
to
of
come to
now.
terms with the reality.
It does say target locked DC Fandome, right, or something like that. So it does say check it out. But
drum a pipe for this Fandome thing, but I don't know. Again,
it'd be cool to see a whole bunch of these characters just die. I'm building up my character, and then poof, you're dead. All right, let's see what happens.
I don't know. We'll see.
That's not in there.
I'm very, very curious about it, but I'm a little worried.
Definitely. DC Fandome, we'll see. There's a lot of questions we have.
It's a lot riding on DC Fandome.
Yeah. So all right, we'll see. August 22nd. That's going to wrap up 507 of the Gamecast. Thanks for tuning in. You can write us podcast at allyoucangeek.net. Follow us on Twitter, allyoucangeek. Like us on Facebook. And if you're watching this on YouTube, hit that subscribe and the like button. We appreciate it. See you guys next week.